Okay, there we go. All right, ladies, you have to excuse me if I wince every once in a while. I apparently pulled a muscle just after 7 o'clock when I was doing Pilates. And so it's in my back. And it just every once in a while I go to move and it's like, oh, that doesn't feel so good. So excuse me if you see me wince. It's not the end of the world.
But Mazel Tov on doing
It's so
Pilates
painful.
in the morning, so.
Yeah, I do Pilates at 7 every Friday before class, Wednesdays and Fridays, and then usually 1 or 2 other days during the week, although not at 7 in the morning.
Well, it's a good
Anyway.
routine.
Okay, so we are going to continue our preparation for Rosh Hashanah. So far as if we don't do it now, we're gonna miss it. So I have a bunch of things planned. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, oops, except I squished you so much that I can't get to that button. Okay. Okay. So we all know that we like to celebrate Rosh Hashanah with apples and honey. And there are some very specific brachot that we say for, over this lovely, delectable little meal or little, I don't know what to call it. It's part of the meal. So the blessing for eating an apple with honey. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you.
You should be serving it.
I should have told everyone to bring it yes, but I didn't.
That's our homework assignment.
I have the honey, but no apple, so.
Oh, we're supposed to give an apple with honey to you as our super sweet teacher.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Well, I will say that this year I got 3 jars or bottles of honey from women, one from a woman in my sisterhood, one from a cousin in Pennsylvania, and another from a friend in New York. They all arrived on the same day from ORT, from the same program.
Oh, that's nice.
I now have 5 of them in my cupboard.
Good for you.
Well, I'm still waiting for somebody to send it to me because I sent a bunch out and I haven't gotten any back.
They're on Jewish time, Barbara.
I
There you
guess so, Marlene.
My temple gives it out.
Wow,
Wow, that's nice.
Still jars. Yep.
very nice.
I'm with Barbara. I sent one to my daughter hoping she wouldn't like it because she likes local honey, but I haven't heard anything. I thought that would be a way for me to get it myself.
Well,
It hasn't worked so far.
a couple
It's
of
been
years
a
ago,
great-
and I think
Go
this
ahead.
was before the pandemic, I got one, but it came like after Yom Kippur. It was so late in arriving. It's like,
Oh.
what was the post office doing with this box? But this year they came nice and early. All right. So the bracha is Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Borei Pri Ha'etz. Right? So eitz is a tree. So we're praising God.
I don't know.
What is that last letter? 8?
Yes.
Tzaddik, it's a tzaddik.
Yes.
Tzaddik Sofi, right? It's a Tzaddik Sofi, and this is, not exactly the font that we're used to seeing.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, I didn't recognize that.
Okay. All right. So, and then after you say that bracha, it is traditional to then say this sentence: Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. This is the addition for our matriarchs. Shet chadesh aleinu shana tova umituka.
Rachel?
Yes.
What does Shechadesh mean?
Well, so the translation they give is, may it be your will, our eternal God, that this be a good and sweet year. So Shana Tova Umetuka. So I don't know exactly, but I assume this has to do with his will. Shet Chadesh.
Okay.
So it's hard to honestly to translate one word for word for word.
Got you. Okay, I'll look it up. Thank you.
Yeah. So
But it's got
here's-
holy in it, right?
I couldn't understand that one.
I apologize. It's got holy at the end of it, right?
Kadesh.
Word? Yeah.
Chodesh, right.
Mhm.
So I don't know the word for word. I'm sorry. I don't know the exact.
No
word.
big deal. I'll look it up. Food for
Okay.
thought.
So anyway, and of course the bottles of honey each come with this in it, which they come with a little, right? We all got, if we got a bottle of honey, you get this little piece of paper, at least in my
Yes.
jars, they all came with this. And I originally had scanned this and was going to show you this version, but I don't like how they spell things. So I was like, no, this is not, I don't understand these odd spellings. Like they've got, so for Eloheinu, Elohe, they have dashes after the olives, and it's so bizarre. And then it makes it very hard. And in fact, they have a misprint because on this one, on the one I got, the word Elohe, they have 2 dots under the lamed. It's like, that is a misprint. There are no two, the lamed has an O over here. Why would it have an A underneath? It's a misprint. The A should be under the hey, not the, so it's like, this piece of paper might be trash this year, girls. Just saying. Okay. Do we
Are
want
you gonna
to?
report it so that they fix it for next year?
That's a fine question. Well, and the problem with it is, right, I'm not supposed to throw it in the trash because it has
But
God's
Hollywood.
name on it, right?
Get rid of
Right.
it.
But it's clearly misspelled, so it's very frustrating.
Oh, they
all right.
can see me.
What?
Okay.
Is I'm hearing, I'm not sure if people are asking questions. Everyone cool?
Marjorie.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Marjorie. Okay. All right, so if you guys want to mute and we'll read it together, I think it will mess us all up if everyone's trying to read at the same time, but we all hear it slightly off. So if you guys would mute yourselves, then we will read it together. I'm just going to check and see. You're muted, everyone. Okay, you all look muted. Okay, so we'll start at the beginning with the blessing first. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'etz. And then we'll go to this other sentence. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu shet chadesh aleinu shana tova umituka. Okay, excellent. From here, let's see if I do this. If I close this, can you still see my screen? You guys have to unmute to tell me.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes?
yes.
Okay.
Can we go back a screen for a sec?
Oh, I just closed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, okay, umit tuva, I mean, I thought it would be and then just straight to the next. How did that?
I may have mispronounced it. Umatuka. It's umatuka, I think, because the u is its own standalone, and then the mem has a shva that it doesn't otherwise need. So you have to give the mem a sound. Umatuka.
Right. So if the
It's a very short sound.
okay, but is there a difference between and I mean,
Not really. No, I think it's a pronunciation thing. So you're right. A lot of people just say umatuka, but see, even there, I just say umatuka. I give it a little on that mem. It's not umatuka.
I'm
It's
not trying to point out a mistake because I don't think it was. I'm just trying to understand if, how it works. But I do understand how things get melded together because we do that in our language and in most
right.
languages.
We do it all the time.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so here, the only thing so now you can see my screen. This is the one page from Behrman House, as it were. This is the only bracha they have for Rosh Hashanah on Behrman House. And it's the prayer before you blow the shofar. Oh, no, it's not. I take it back. There's two prayers here. Look at me. Okay, so here's the first one that we just did, Borei Pri Ha'etz. I apologize. I was scanning this too quickly. So this is for eating the apple. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Pri Ha'etz. So we just did that. But then here is the bracha before we blow the shofar. And commands us to hear. So interestingly, the commandment is to hear the shofar. And that's obviously, it's really not about the blowing, it's about the hearing. So if you just are alone and you blow the shofar, yes, you're fulfilling the commandment, but if you blow the shofar for others so others can hear it, I view it as you're enhancing your performance of the commandment, because the blessing or the commandment is for everyone to hear it, or for people to hear it. So anyway, so this is Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. So just like Shema, lishmoa is to hear. Lishmoa kol shofar, the sound of the shofar. Excuse me. So I would like us to now talk about, and we don't have to read all of this. This happens to be Chabad.org. They have tremendous amount of information here about the shofar. You look at all this. This is one article about the shofar, and they have different articles that they then take you to. So what I thought was interesting, and I might not have learned it right here, but that we always talk about the shofar is a ram's horn. Well, a shofar can be made from the horn of a kosher animal with the marrow removed. So any kosher animal who has a horn that can be hollowed, you can use it as a shofar. So I was doing my research for today's class. And so for instance, certain animals that happen to be kosher, their horns are solid, as opposed to having marrow in the middle. That is what's removed to make the shofar. So I don't know if you guys have seen shofarot made from different animals, but they would be kosher. And then it goes on. The central mitzvah of Rosh Hashanah is to hear the shofar being blown. So the Torah refers to Rosh Hashanah as the day of the shofar blast. We need to hear the shofar blown during the daytime hours of both days of Rosh Hashanah, unless one is Shabbat, in which case we blow the shofar on the other day, right, on the second day. It may be blown until sunset, but the traditional time for shofar blowing is during the morning service, after the Torah has been read, before the Musaf prayer, and it is customary to blow it several more times during Musaf. Now, the reason for that is you're supposed to blow it 100 times during the service. So this list, the Torah does not specify why we are to blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. However, this rabbi compiled a list of 10 reasons for this special mitzvah. We coronate God as King of the world. The shofar's trumpeting call heralds this exciting event. The piercing wail serves to awaken slumbering souls that have grown complacent. The shofar evokes the shofar blasts that were heard when God descended on Mount Sinai and gave us the Torah. It echoes the cries of the prophets who urged Israel to mend their ways and return to God and his commandments. Reminds us of the war cries of our enemies as they broke into the temple in Jerusalem and destroyed it. Made of a ram's horn, the shofar recalls the near sacrifice of Isaac, who was saved when God showed Abraham a ram to bring as an offering in his stead. It humbles us and fills us with the awe of God, that shrill sound. It foreshadows the day of judgment at the end of days, which the prophet describes as a day of shofar and alarm against the fortified cities and against the high towers. Gives us hope, mirroring the sound of the great shofar that will call together the Jewish people who are scattered to the corners of the earth at the time of the coming of the Messiah. It reminds us of the revival of the dead, about which we read, dwellers of the earth, a shofar is sounded, you shall hear. Many of these I have heard before, not all of them. Barbara?
My question is, do you have to hear the shofar blown by a real person, or if you happen to be in the middle of nowhere, which is probably almost impossible given the extent of Chabad nowadays, but there's nowhere around, no shofar blower around, is a recording just as good?
So let me just rephrase. So are you asking, can you hear it over radio waves or Zoom or something? Or are you asking, do you have to be in the presence of it? Or are you asking that someone previously blew it and you can play the recording?
Yeah, if you had a recording of it, could you play the recording of it? Over Zoom, I assume is okay.
Is kosher, right? Exactly,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what we did for. So I don't exactly know the answer, and certainly we all know, not a rabbi, and so I don't know how they would answer that question.
And the reason I ask that is because if it comes down to the important part is hearing it, not blowing it, then logically it seems that a recording would be okay.
And similarly, part of the way the rabbis decided it was okay for us to have minyanim and services over Zoom was if we could see each other's eyes, we counted as a minyan. Now with a shofar, it can be blown on a mountaintop far away, and you can be down in the valley and you hear it blown, and that you've fulfilled the mitzvah. You can't see that person's eyes, you can still hear it.
Rachel,
Eileen? Yeah.
we have more than one shofar blower. Would
Right.
that be, would the plural be shofarim or shofarot?
So the instrument itself, the plural is shofarot.
Oh, okay.
Left you a here in money and
Thank you.
honor and all explain, okay?
Yeah, I was just gonna add that my guess for your question, Barbara, would be, it depends on the streams of Judaism. I would say Orthodox would not be accepting of,
Oh, I would, absolutely.
yeah, and reform, yes, and conservative is a good question. I don't
Conservative,
know.
they usually go with it depends on your local rabbi.
Right, your Mara De'atra, he's called, yeah,
Exactly,
the local
right.
rabbi.
Yeah.
But to me, the hearing is the most important thing.
It definitely is.
I think that would supersede everything, the hearing.
And for somebody who's maybe in hospice, who, for some reason is not able to hear it in person and hears a recording, the rabbis would probably say that that's, they've completed the mitzvah by hearing that. They have these little hooks in these laws.
I don't know
Jane?
if they do it during the pandemic years, but my shul always tried to get people who could blow the shofar to go out to the local senior citizens' homes and things like that, and at least blow a short bit of the shofar to them. I remember doing it with my son when he was probably, just past bar mitzvah age. And it was a nice thing to do.
Nice mitzvah.
Yeah, it was a good mitzvah.
And
Yeah, and Rachel had talked about that. She did that with a couple of times.
I did that for well over a decade with some men from my shul. And it was one of the most moving experiences I've ever had, particularly because there was a woman who I didn't know, but the man who was blowing the shofar had known. She was a victim of early onset Alzheimer's, and she had been unresponsive for quite some time. She was in a care facility, and he approached her, and he was sweet and gentle with her, but she still didn't respond. And then we blew the shofar for her, and she responded. It got to her core. And similarly, he had a cousin in this same facility who was deaf, blind, and mute. And he had known him, obviously, all his life. And he let him have his hand on the shofar while he blew it so he could feel the vibrations. And again, that was very meaningful for them and for him. So it's the hearing, it's the experiencing it. You don't have to be able to blow it, and you can still get that incredible moving sensation. And I think that's, I imagine that those who blow it, unless they're really skilled and have practiced a lot, they're focused on getting out the sound they want for the duration of seconds they want. And they're not feeling it the way those of us who are hearing what they're doing are feeling it. The difference between performance and experience, I guess. Jane, I made you wait a long time. I know you had your hand up.
If I'm not mistaken, in Israel, Rosh Hashanah is only it's only one day. So if it's on the Shabbat, then they don't hear the.
Actually, I believe, unlike the other Shalosh Regalim, the holidays where we do celebrate 2 days, Rosh Hashanah is 2 days in Israel.
Pesach. It's Pesach. It's one.
Pesach is not, exactly.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because they know exactly what, but Rosh Hashanah is still 2 days, right?
Thank you.
And just to let you know too, if the horn, ram's horn, I'll call it, has to be up when the blower blows. If it's down, it's not a kosher blow on that horn.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But Mary Ellen, what do you mean? You said it has to be up?
Yeah, like if you can scroll down in that picture, Rachel,
Yeah.
like see how it's up in the air?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can't be
And
pointed downwards.
there are those, I have certainly seen shofars that are long and have twists in them, so that
they have to hold it like that.
they have to hold it with the bowl up, right? And sometimes they have to use 2 hands, right? Okay, so we're gonna now go, so here, so everyone can see, this is from the Machzor Lev Shalem, okay? This is at the end of the Torah service. This is the shofar, the first one of, right, service for blowing the shofar. Oh, excuse me, I just took a big deep breath in, and that hurts a little. Okay, so, and I just, before we get into it, so right after this, in Machzor Lev Shalem, look here, we have the Ashrei. So this is in your mind where this comes in the service. I just wanted you to kind of get that. Okay, so there are, as I've been talking about for weeks now, one of the wonderful things about this prayer book are all of these lovely side notes. And the page I was just on, the explanation from Chabad about the shofar service, etc. A lot of it is actually right here in these side notes, which is, I think, wonderful for us. So here, the service of blowing the shofar offers us a glimpse of the high drama and sounds of the ancient temple service. In many places, the shofar blower appears out of the congregation, often hiding the shofar out of sight to give voice to the 3 blasts, Tekiah, Shvarim, and Tru'ah, while the congregation stands in rapt attention. Oh, my mouse, I'm sorry. However, the bracha reminds us that our focus should be on ourselves and on our fellow congregants, not on the shofar blower. We recite the words, I hate this, Tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar, Tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. We are instructed to heed the call of the shofar. The blasts might be strong and sustained or weak and hesitant, but they still have the potential to evoke a response in us. All right, so we did the bracha, right? Or did we call shofar, right? I did. Do I need to make this bigger? It looks like you're straining. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. So this is a commandment mitzvah, right? So that's why we have asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. You commanded us lishmoa kol shofar, to hear the sound of the shofar. And then we say Shechechiyanu, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shechechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. So this is not a commandment. This is just a thank you for letting us come to this wonderful time. And the notes that are what's called out to the blower, right? They're literally notes. Tekiah, shvarim teruah, tekiah. So I think, I'm just trying to, I'm sorry, where is, I thought there was a description of the notes, but maybe not so much in this book. Okay, so if I go back,
I think it was in the middle of the page you just went past.
was it? Well, they have a nice description here again. So tekiah, a long sob-like blast. Shvarim, a series of 3 short wails. And teruah, at least 9 piercing staccato bursts. Now, if you do some research, and even on Chabad, they will tell you there are different interpretations of what tekiah should sound like, what shvarim should sound like, and what teruah should sound like. But I think this is the most common. Certainly in all the places I've been, this holds true. You get the tekiah is a long, call it sob, fine, a long blast. Shvarim, a series of 3 short, and teruah, at least 9 staccato bursts. Okay. All right. So, and I'm sure you guys are familiar. So this is done. And again, this is how you get to the 100 blasts, right? Tekiah, shvarim, teruah, tekiah, tekiah, shvarim, teruah, tekiah. So this is 3 times. And if you count up, you know, the 1, the 3, and at least 9, and you multiply, you're going to get there over the course of the service. The second stanza for blowing the shofar, tekiah, shvarim, tekiah. So the difference between shvarim, teruah, and just shvarim, right? And then tekiah, teruah, tekiah. So let's go back a minute. Right, so when you put the shvarim teruah together, right, you get 3 plus 9, but when you break it up, you get by its own, here's just the 3 for the shvarim and the 9 for the teruah, right? And you end with tekiah gedolah, which is where they hold it, depending on the person, for a really long time. So,
what do those words mean?
I don't think they have a meaning other than,
okay.
That's the point is, so, and in here, there's an entire article I came across that talks about, and it's that different people have interpreted it to mean certain different, slightly different things. So there, as I say, they're more notes than they are words.
Okay.
All right. Right, so where is, I'm looking for, and I can't find it. This is crazy. So you see here, min hametzar, karatia. So where is that in the Hebrew? I hate
in
to
the
give
middle
you,
of the page before.
Did I miss it?
Yep, it's right
Oh,
there.
here it is. It's above. I'm sorry. All right. So, right. Right. So this is said before. Okay. Depending on where in the service you're blowing the shofar, there are some paragraphs that come after it that are slightly different. And I didn't get the page numbers for all of the times in this Machzor where we're going to blow the shofar. So I apologize for that. So this paragraph before, I just learned in reading this. So min chametza karati ya anani vamerchav ya koli shamata. Okay, so this prayer, they say there's the last 6 lines. So right here, the initial letters of the last 6 lines of this passage spell out the acrostic kara Satan, tear out Satan. See, kuf resh ayin, and then sin taf nun, which I never noticed before, but that's very interesting. These poets, come up with amazing things. All right. I am not going to blow a shofar for you, though I do have one. Anyone have further questions about this? Okay. Oh, here's what I was looking for. So what tends to come after? Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu here we go. Shehatkiyot v'hakolot hayotzim min hashofar she'anu tokim al ya'alu lifnei kisei kivodecha. So this is kind of explaining here. Let's get that. May it be your will that the cries of the shofar rise up to your throne. They serve as atonement for all our sins. So that's the typical line, the paragraph that is said after each time we blow the shofar. We say this paragraph. So I apologize that I couldn't find it. Okay. Excuse me. That brings us to Ashrei. Look right where we are. I did that on purpose. I will let me mention one other thing, because so next week we might move on to some things that are, even though it's our last week before Rosh Hashanah, we might talk a little bit about Yom Kippur, but the service for Rosh Hashanah has the Malchuyot verses. I'm sure you're somewhat familiar, or sections that are added to our service. So the name of the first part of the central section of the Musaf prayer of Rosh Hashanah is the Malchuyot. So we've talked about Musaf services, right? The Musaf prayer added on Shabbat. So on Rosh Hashanah, it's the addition of the Malchuyot. It consists of 10 verses, 4 from the Pentateuch, 3 from Psalms, and 3 from the prophets. All of them proclaim God as king and anticipate the realization of his kingdom on earth. According to the Talmud, the number 10 symbolized the 10 praises sung by David, or the 10 commandments, or the 10 sayings by which God created the world. The Malchuyot prayer and 2 similar sections. So the Zichronot are added for Rosh Hashanah, and the Shofarot form the Tikiyat Divrei Rav. At the end of each section, during the reader's repetition, the shofar is sounded. The recital of the Malchuyot, Zichronot, Shofarot verses dates back to Messianic times and was most probably part of the prayer service in the temple. Anyway, okay, so I thought that kind of brought together what we ended with prior to, in the summer when we were doing the Musaf Amidah portions, and now preparing for Rosh Hashanah, where it changes ever so slightly again with the addition. It changes actually a lot with the addition of these extra sections. All right. On to Ashrei. You're welcome to read my screen, or you're welcome to open your book, whichever you like. And you guys are going to have to unmute because you're going to read to me. And I'm going to take a sip. All right. I have to apologize a little because I can't see you all at once when I share my screen like this. So, all right. Eileen, will you get us started with the first 2 lines? Be sure you're unmuted. Is this large enough? I'll make it a smidge bigger. How's that? That's nice and big.
I thought I was starting Ashrei Yoshvei, no?
Oh, am I in the, yes, Ashrei Yoshvei right here.
Ashrei Yoshvei Batecha Od Yahalelucha Selah.
Yes.
Ashrei Ha'am Shechacha
Shikacha. So this is the hard K and this is the, yeah.
Lo Ashrei Ha'am She Adonai Elohan
Have.
Ohav.
Thank you. Okay. Audrey, will you continue with even with the little line here? Oh, I definitely hear the roofers.
Tehillah le David. Aro miman
Mimcha. Mimcha.
mincha.
Oh, she's around.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Ask Joe. He was just with her.
All right, somebody's have to.
I Hamel, what's the, let's see. I cannot read. Oh, that's 3. Okay. Hamelech,
Mm-hmm.
Va'a, Varcha,
Mm-hmm.
Imcha, Leolam Ba'ed.
Yep.
Bechal,
Bechol, actually.
Bechol,
Even though it's you could say but they pronounce it more O.
Thank you. Bechol Yom Havarachecha.
Avarchecha.
Avarchecha.
Mm-hmm.
So that one doesn't get pronounced except at the final. Baha'u'llah, Allah, Imcha Le'olam Ba'ed.
Nice, thank you. Okay. Mary Ellen, will you continue?
Gadol Adonai Hulal Me'od V'lig du Lato Ein Keker.
Nice.
Dor Lador Yeshabak Ma'aseka Ugvuroteka Yagidu.
Really nice, thank you. Barbara, will you continue?
I just lost it. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, I got it. Hadar Kavod Hodecha V'divrei Nifla Techa.
Niflo, there's an O up here at the corner of the olive.
Yeah, okay. No. Niflo Techa.
There you go.
Asicha.
Yes.
Ve'ezuz Noratecha Yameru. Ugdulatcha Asaprena.
Nice, thank you so much.
Excuse me, can we get everybody to mute?
Yeah, I was trying to grab certain, I think I caught it. Where did we just end? Asaprena, thank you. I lost my place. So we're here at Zecher. Okay. Marjorie, I think you're here. I think I saw you join. Will you unmute and read, starting with Zecher?
Rachel, Marjorie sent sent a
chat.
message in the
A
chat that
chat.
she's having trouble with her mic.
Okay,
Right.
thank you
Not
for
to-
telling me.
Yeah,
Okay,
not
don't
to
worry about
call.
it. That's okay. We'll skip you. I'm glad you're here. Not a problem. Lenore, will you read?
Zeher Rav Tuv Ha Yabiu V'Tzid Kat Ha Yaranenu
Mhm.
Noon V'Rahum Adonai Eretz
Erech.
Erech Paim Ugdal Hasid.
Chesed. Good. So on this word erech, so you were reading it as if this were a tzadit sofit, I think, but it's a chef sofit, so it's erech. But I understand your slight confusion. I'm just going to bring this up a little. Okay, so we're still here on Tov. Let me see who's Edith. Will you continue? Everyone else, please mute, but Edith, unmute.
All right, well, let's see. We're at Tov.
Tov, yes.
Okay. Tov Adonai Lakol. Vira Ka Mob
Mhm.
Al Call Ma'a Shab. Sob.
Good, no problem.
Yoduka Adonai Call Meoseka Ma'asaka
Yeah.
by Si Deka
Mm-hmm.
Bar Kuka.
Yivar chucha.
Bar Kuka. Kukka.
Yeah,
What is
Yivar
it?
chuch.
Bar Ku.
So you have to pronounce the yud at the beginning. So Yivar.
Yevarku. Okay, I missed the year.
There
Okay.
you go. Exactly.
Yevarku.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. Marlene, will you unmute and continue?
Sure, thank you. Kavod Malchutaha Yomeru Uvuratha Yedaberu. Next line.
Yep, please.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
You can do it.
Lihodia Lifne Ha'adam Givu Rotov.
Rotav.
Vigivutav.
Gavu rotav.
Vigurotov. Not one of my finest moments. Uchvod Hadar Malchuto.
There, you just got tongue-tied. It's perfectly lovely. Geraldine, will you continue?
Oh, bless me. Okay. Malkutaka, Malkut, Kol, Olamim,
You're doing great.
Umim,
Mem.
Sheteka,
Mem.
Umim, Sheteka, the Kol, door by door.
Mm-hmm.
Samek, I don't.
Somech. So this is a O. Somech.
Somek, Adonai, the Kol, Hanoplim, Visokif,
Kaif.
Visokif, the Kol, Hakif, Hakfufim. No.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Don't
what?
say it, don't ask it as a question, say it as a statement. Hakfufim.
Sounds like my mentor Edith. Okay.
You did beautifully. You all are really improving so much. Thank you. Jane, will you continue for us here at ANA?
Ene, kol, elecha, use,
Yeah, this is
yeah,
yes.
oh, yeah, yesa, be, door,
This is a resh. So
Or-
yisabe ru. This is a resh, not a dalid.
yesa, beru,
There you go.
the teha, teta, tet,
This is just ata. The ata.
ata, nu, nu, tev,
So this is a o, no tain.
no tain, la, tem,
This
La-
is a hey. So it's
la,
a,
la, he,
this
la,
is it's like an
La-
H.
la, hate, haim,
This is a mem sofit, lahem.
lahem, ata,
This is et.
oh geez, et, ak, ka, akalat,
Ach lam.
achlam, be'o, tov,
Beito.
be'ito,
Okay.
po, I get this letter so confused. Tate.
So this is a chet at the end with a ah, and this is when we invert it. So this is poteach. You say the ah before the chet. So poteach.
Potea. No, 8.
Et, yes.
Et yerecha.
So this one's the dalid. So this was the resh up here. This is the dalid. So yadecha.
Yadeha uma se beya.
Masbi'a.
Bia lechol hey.
So it's a ah under it. Chai.
Chai ratzon.
Yes. All right. I'm going to read it back just so you'll know it. Ene chol elecha yisaberu ve'ata notain lahem et achlam be'ito poteach et yadecha umasbia lechol chai ratzon.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The line that you just read,
Poteach.
under the chet, the line is to the, does it make a difference? It's usually in the middle. Under the chet.
This one right here, poteach.
No, the next one, the chet. No, same word, last letter of that word.
Oh, right here under,
Yes.
oh, I see what you're saying. So
Yes.
no, it does not matter that they happen to have it off to the right instead of in the middle.
I haven't seen that. I didn't know if that was significant.
I don't know.
I don't want to be nitpicky. It just threw me when I saw it.
I don't know if it's their way of, because it's the final chet with the ah. Although if you look up here, this lines up with the right-hand side of this ion too.
Okay, but
Maybe
it
that's
doesn't
just-
change the pronunciation at all.
Not at all. And this
Okay, thank
ion
you.
too, it lines up to the right. So no, it
Thank you.
doesn't, although here it lines up in the
Yes,
center.
yeah.
So I don't know. It does not change the pronunciation. It's poteach. And that's
Okay,
just how
thank
it
you.
is.
It's
Sure.
fine in the regular Siddur. So it do that, yeah.
Say it
Will that letter always have a line under it?
So this is that oddity, that exception rule that when the chet is at the end of the word,
Right.
and it has the ah, that we invert it. Edith, you're asking, does it always have an ah when it's at the end of the word? It tends to, yes. It's kind of
Yeah.
like the reason they put it at the end is so that they can have this sound, because you
Okay.
can't, so up here, right, where we have ha, this yoducha, right? This is a final letter with a ha, and it's not inverted. So yes, the reason I think they tend to use this at the end of the word is so you invert the sound.
Okay, Marjorie has a question in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me take a look. Last example, chet isn't the last letter. There's a silent letter at the end. So my last example, potea. So I'm not sure I understand. Can someone help me understand what she's asking? So I'm looking for I'm not sure I understand. Let me look at your thing again.
Oh, I think she might be.
The last example, the chet isn't the last letter. The silent letter at the end.
It might be right
Second to the
here.
last word.
Here,
This
she
word right
answered.
here.
Second to the last word.
This is chai. So lechol chai, is this where we're talking about?
Yes, and there's a
Okay,
letter there.
So, right, so because the yud, and okay, Marjorie, I understand. So here, the is in the middle of the chet, which unlike here where they put it off to the right side. And yes, because the yud is the final letter, this is chai, right? Not ach. But insofar as why they're printing these vowels where they are, again, when this ayin is the last one, it seems to be off to the right. This isn't the last one, and it seems to be centered. So it might just be their typeface. I just don't know, honestly.
Do you understand what I said earlier, Rachel? That in our regular daily Lev Shalom, it is not off to the side?
Okay, I didn't hear all of that, but that's what I thought you said. Yeah, so again, I don't know. And I don't have the notes at the beginning of this book, so I don't know. Okay, so what line are we on? Are we on Sadiq? I think we're here.
Yeah.
Sadiq, right. And I think we're back to the beginning. Eileen, will you read for us?
Sadiq, Adonai, Bochal, Derachav, Vahasid, Bochal, Ma'asan.
Sav.
Ma'asav. I'm trying to remember.
Nice, okay. Will you do one more line?
Karov, Avdenoi, Lochal, Korav.
Yep.
Lechol, Asher, Yikra'u.
Perfect.
V'ume.
Emet.
V'emet.
Exactly. Ve'emet. Ve'emet. All three of these are 3 dots. So ve'emet. Very nice. Thank you. Back to you listening to your roofers, unfortunately. Audrey, will you do its own?
Yes, its own. That was hard. Yarei Eve.
Av.
Ray Av. You know, it really did look like a dot. Sorry. Ya'aseh. Ve'et. Shav. It's just Shav. Shav. Atam. Yesh. Yishma. Yo. Aim.
Say that word again. You added an in there.
Sorry. Yo. Aim.
There it is.
Shomer Adonai et Ho Ochav Ban Vav
Mhm.
Ve'et Ho Harsha,
Mhm.
okay. Yashmead.
Yashmeen, perfect, lovely. Okay, and to finish us off, I think Mary Ellen, you're up again.
Tehilat Adonai Yadaber Pi. Vi Yivarek Kol Basar Shem Kadsho Leolam Va'ed. Va'anachnu Navarek Ya Miata Ba'ad Olam
Me'ata.
Me'ata
There you go.
Va'ed Olam
Ad olam.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, it's Ad olam.
Hallelujah.
Beautiful, beautiful. You guys are really improving. And it's exactly 10 o'clock now. So we used up all of our time.
Gotta go.
Oh, sorry. I can't breathe in that deep. It hurts. We have one more week before Rosh Hashanah. I will fill it with more things from the Machzor and hopefully maybe still do Ashrei again. But you guys have improved so much. I'm very pleased.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
so
you,
welcome.
Rachel. When
Um,
students are ready, the teacher did appear.
I don't get it. What did I miss?
But they say when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. Well, when these students were ready, learn, you did appear as a.
Well, thanks, I guess. Okay. I feel bad when I do most of the talking in class, but that's, I guess, just a sign that we've moved on from just you guys practicing reading to me, that we're also learning more about the prayers and the structure of the service. But I have to say, it's weird for me. I was much more comfortable when you guys were speaking to me, reading to me, than I don't like just lecturing to you. So I hope it doesn't feel like I'm just lecturing to
Well,
you.
we're learning more.
Not at all. Not at all.
I like
We
it.
need it. We
Okay.
need it.
I feel bad when you're so quiet and I'm just yammering on, but
We're absorbing.
So
No.
Mary